How long until Cardano season? That's the question. This is ADA chart on the daily chart. A lot of ADA holders wondering, what is the next move? Are we going lower? What needs to happen? In this video, I want to actually bring into play some different data points from historical charts on ADA last cycle around this time to give us an idea of time frame. How much longer before Cardano season? So hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. Before we even dive into the charts and talk about price, I posted this a little bit ago. I said we're about to enter Cardano season. We're about to enter Rune season. We're about to enter base season. Maybe those things are for other videos, but this particularly, we're about to enter Cardano season. Y'all know me. I'm a Cardano bull. I'm very bullish on ADA. I've said time and time again, I don't even think we're in that altcoin season yet. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit in this video. And then I want to just discuss the time frame. Well, when could this possibly play out? What's funny is I was in this office just a little bit ago. We were sitting in here, my wife and daughter and my dog. I was back there sitting on the couch. My computer was open. ADA chart was there. And I was looking at ADA chart. If you just look at an ADA chart, there's so much consistency and just such a nice move through these cycles. And it was weird sitting back there on the couch and seeing kind of the pattern and the formation from further away. It became even more clear than just sitting here looking at this chart right now. But I really do want to dissect all this and compare it to all of this back here. And we're going to really do it on the daily chart because there's some things to watch for now on the zoomed in that kind of offer some guidance, I think, even from a shorter term perspective, but also, man, when is Cardano season? And I truly think Cardano season will be here. And I'm not just talking about ADA price and ADA charts, but I think Cardano DeFi, all the projects that are on Cardano, I think they're going to do well in this bull season. Before we talk about the ADA charts, for a very important context, I want to just show you ADA BTC because this is incredibly important. When we're trying to take historical data, it's very valuable to go back and say, well, where was Cardano season last cycle, right? So here's the Bitcoin halving last cycle. This Bitcoin halving just happened yesterday. If you look, this was May 2020. Cardano season did not begin until December 2020. So everybody's like, man, Cardano's terrible this cycle. Everybody, we're not even, from a time frame perspective, a cycle perspective, we're not even close to when Cardano season was last cycle. That's what it looks like on a dominance chart for Bitcoin dominance. And you can see Bitcoin very clearly topping out, and then there's altcoin season. The question this cycle is, when will Bitcoin top out and when will altcoin season be, right? Will it be months after Bitcoin halving somewhere over here? Will it be now? Will it happen early? This is something we have to continually monitor, but this alone just kind of shows we're still early. I don't think anybody needs to freak out just yet in terms of ADA season. I have to continually remind myself. And if we look at this, Cardano season began basically December 2020. You go to ADA chart just to give you a sense of where it is. It was right around here, the consolidation and then the breakout. There's ADA season. And that's not to say ADA wasn't performing well before that. It was exiting the bear market. It was really doing everything it's been doing so far this cycle. Now, I want to mention something because I know there's people that are constantly like, dude, ADA is doing terrible. It's an underperformer. Because look at something like Solana's outperforming ADA like crazy. Well, at this moment, before ADA season last cycle, I just want to show you. Look at Cardano season on a Chainlink chart last cycle. Here's Cardano season beginning. This is a Chainlink chart. Chainlink just insane, right? So at this moment, last cycle, maybe people could have said, should have chosen Chainlink. It doesn't mean Cardano was a bad play last cycle. And the same thing's happening now. This is a Chainlink chart then, and now it's kind of like Solana's doing the same thing and some other tokens. But all that to say, you go back to an ADA chart, ADA, I just don't think Cardano season has happened yet. But now let's start talking about the price, dissecting the price. As you all know, maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but I don't think so. The structure, the similarities are there. Talk about it all the time. I was doing a lot of comparison to right here, and we were kind of comparing this move right here of consolidation. ADA didn't break up. It broke down. It diverged. But what I do want to discuss is this alternate scenario where ADA is kind of making a very similar move to here. And we're going to start seeing some similarities on the daily chart that actually suggests this as well, as kind of a little different perspective to look at these charts from. But right here, this fall back here, and this is what I'm saying. When I was sitting on the couch and I was looking at the chart just way zoomed out, because I'm sitting all the way back there, when I was just looking, these two moves, they now look, now that the move has happened to the downside, they just look so similar, right? And even then, this big crash back then happened post Bitcoin halving, and right now it's happening pre Bitcoin halving. But I talked about the daily chart because a lot of people are zoomed in on the charts watching. Before we pivot to the daily, on the weekly, you can see the 50-week moving average right around 41 cents. That's important. I marked it on the daily chart here. Here's the daily. I marked it with this yellow line. This is basically that 50-week moving average on the weekly, right around there, that yellow line. So that's a support area currently, and no surprise, we fell out of the lower trend line of the pattern, and we're getting some type of consolidation, right, halfway through before just straight to the target of, lower 30s. And this happens often. So that support is the 50-week moving average. We're on the daily chart, but that's where the 50-week moving average is. And right now we're getting a little bounce to the 200-day moving average. That's a big short-term resistance. We want to see ADA break above that area. This is where we start taking historical data now, historical price charts, to kind of get a sense. What should we wait for? What's the time frame before Cardano might make the bullish move? Just like you, I would love it to happen now. Just by midweek, this would be great, right? We're back at 60 plus cents. But realistically, let's take two data points. I'm going to take pretty much the bear market low for ADA back here. I'm going to take that area. And I'm also going to take this move back here in 2020. Again, on the weekly chart, if we zoom out, it's this move right here. I want to take that and look at it on the daily compared to the move now, because there are very similar charts right now. So let's first look at the daily chart back here. The reason I want to do this is because if we watch what's happening, we have the 20-day moving average falling below the 50-day. They're just the 20-day right now is plummeting towards the 200. We obviously don't want to see the 20 and the 50 just falling below the 200. That's a very bearish environment, right? And if we just look at this now, back here, when ADA bottomed in the bear market, what was happening? The 20-day fell below the 200, the red line. The 50-day fell below. And that entire move really was kind of the beginning of the bottoming out for ADA, right? And from that moment, if you take a time frame perspective, from the swing low to when it finally just started making a move to the upside, we're looking at like 100 some days, 130 days, right? So that was a bottoming out formation after that consolidation was taking place. But in terms of part of the cycle that we're at, yeah, from a technical analysis perspective, we have some indicators that were playing out very similar, right? We have the 20 was consolidating, the 50 consolidating. They were all consolidating to form some bottoming out structure. But in terms of where we are in the cycle, different vibes. And that's where we go back and we look at back here. Because now on this chart, there's a lot of similarities. You can see this exit out of the bear, and then the 20s crossing below the 50, and it's just plummeting towards the 200. Now here's where the 200-day moving average becomes very critical right now. At that time, in the move, ADA actually kind of saw support above the 200. It's just almost too good to be true support. It was just perfect support at the 200-day moving average, and then kind of put in its formation, the bottoming out formation, and that lasted. Let's just take it from this swing low to, we can take it to this first kind of burst out, 50 to 60 days, and then to Cardano season, where Cardano really just truly exploded, we're looking at 100 days. Now that piece of data, I think, applies very much. 50 to 100 days for ADA right now. I think that is a realistic type of time frame to allow for ADA to consolidate right now. I don't know what exactly that will look like, but what I do know is very similar vibes, right? We have exiting the bear. We have the 20-day crossing below the 50. The 20-day plummeting towards the 200 right there. Now, here's the one difference. The one difference is ADA is below the 200, right? And what this says to me isn't like, man, it's game over for ADA. That's it. this is what it says to me. Number one, in the very short term, I really want to see ADA just get back above the 200 if it could happen. I'm talking about like this week. But there might be resistance here. And this is really what it truly means. If there's resistance here, then this consolidation phase that ADA is in would probably look a little different than how it looked back here. That perfect support at the 200, right? That we won't get that. But right now we're getting, I think, very close to the bottoming out. And for me, it's kind of like, it really depends. What does this week hold for crypto as a whole? If crypto continues to fall, because all of crypto has been falling, that's why basically ADA fell out of this rising wedge. If all of crypto continues to fall, we'll get the resistance here at the 200 or even maybe the 20. So much resistance as the 20 is getting ready to meet the 200. We'll get resistance, just kind of this lower high, and ADA continues to fall. Maybe we test the weekly 50-week moving average. Maybe it holds support. But if not, it's important to remember the target is down there in the lower 30s. But again, I think what does apply here as I'm watching these charts is that 50 to 100 day time frame for ADA to really start getting its legs and we start entering Cardano season. And maybe that's not until this summer, right? But either way, I'm allowing that time frame. And even if that was the case, it took another 50 to 100 days. Everything in terms of Cardano season happening earlier than last cycle. And so in that regard, I think Cardano is still very much on pace in terms of price. And I think Cardano season is approaching. These are just my thoughts, everybody. I could be completely wrong. I say that all the time. I could be completely wrong about everything I'm saying. I'm just tracking the charts. You all know me. I track altcoin markets, but I'm very much interested in tracking Bitcoin as this roadmap for all of crypto. I'm very much interested in tracking Cardano, and I'm very much interested in what I think is approaching, and that is Cardano season. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend out there. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.